Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So we got this guy and we've got this guy, and one of these guys is going to win the United States presidency next week, and this is going to have effect on markets. It's already having an effect. Some people are presuming right now Bitcoin trading over 13,200 per BTC. We have seen Bitcoin wake up a little bit since yesterday. Yesterday we were seeing not too much activity for Bitcoin. It did come down from about 13,254. Came down here to around 12,700, but now it's back up to about 13,200. So the bull trend is looking fairly steady for Bitcoin. When we look at the crypto space as a whole, we're also seeing that Bitcoin dominance is up quite significantly, so 61.8%. And look at the entire market cap of the crypto market, guys, almost reaching 400 billion, which is a number we haven't seen for a while now. Most of that money is getting pumped into Bitcoin. And over the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 12.5%, Ethereum is up 5.22%, and XRP is up 2.49%. But on the 24-hour, Bitcoin is up 1.3%, Ethereum down 2.57%, and XRP down 1.1%. So Bitcoin taking on the market, and we need Bitcoin to take on the market. We're also seeing articles like this being published, guys. I saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf. BlackRock sells and shorts US dollar for Asian currencies into the US election. So the world's biggest money manager is shorting the dollar on expectations that unprecedented fiscal and monetary stimulus will prolong its losses regardless of who wins the US election. BlackRock Inc. holds a modest short in the greenback against the likes of the Chinese yuan, the Indian rupee, and the Indonesian rupiah. Rupiah, I think that's how it's pronounced. This coming from Neeraj Seth, head of Asian credit in Singapore. The three Asian nations are among those best positioned to benefit from a weakening dollar as investors seek out higher yielding assets and growth. So BlackRock shorting the US greenback against these Asian currencies. Of course, this has to do with this guy and who wins the presidential election. I also saw this from DJ Peter Vass here on Twitter. Silvergate Bank sees a 40% increase in deposits from digital currency customers. So what does this mean? Silvergate Bank added $586 million in new deposits from firms and individuals in the cryptocurrency industry in the third quarter only, guys, of 2020, according to an earnings report released before market open on Monday. This growth was around half of competitor Signature Bank's increase of $1 billion in deposits from digital asset companies, but it's the largest deposit increase Silvergate has seen since the Bitcoin bull run in quarter 4 of 2017. So this amount of money being deposited into Silvergate banks has been the largest amount that they've seen since this time here, quarter 4 of 2017. And just to give you guys a sense of where quarter 4 was in 2017, let me just see if I can outline it here for you guys. Nope, that's 2019. Back here, this was the bull run of 2017. And we are looking at roughly here to here. Quarter 4 2017 encompasses this section of the Bitcoin bull run. Okay, so that was the last leg of the bull run when Bitcoin saw most of its gains. Okay, we saw it start out around $4,200, and in that last quarter, it topped out at $19,777, give or take. This is the last time Silvergate Bank saw those kinds of deposits being deposited into their accounts. Something we should also probably note, guys, LibertyX launches Bitcoin to cash sales at ATMs in the United States. So for those of you guys who have seen these ATMs kicking around, sometimes in a strip plaza or in a coffee shop, LibertyX wants to provide instant Bitcoin cash outs as the token hits new highs in 2020. So everybody is getting prepared here. Let me read you a little bit of this. A major retail network of Bitcoin, namely LibertyX, ATMs in the United States, is expanding Bitcoin sales options at thousands of its ATM locations, according to an October 26th announcement. LibertyX has enabled a Bitcoin cash out feature at 5,000 regular ATMs across the United States. As such, customers can now sell Bitcoin for cash at any of the participating ATMs. LibertyX CEO and co-founder Chris Yim said that previously the firm's software only supported Bitcoin purchases with debit cards. The latest edition allows holders to receive cash for selling their Bitcoin. Yim noted that Bitcoin has reached new yearly highs with this run-up in price of Bitcoin. Customers are looking for a way to sell Bitcoin without dealing with wire or bank transfers. The Bitcoin sale feature is supported by a limited number of ATMs in the US compared to Bitcoin purchases. And here's a quote from Chris Yim. "Well, it's never been easier to buy Bitcoin. Selling is another story. There are almost 15,000 Bitcoin ATMs across the United States, but fewer than 2,000 allow customers to sell Bitcoin for cash. Our cash out product, deployed across 5,000 ATMs, triples the number of Bitcoin ATMs where customers can sell Bitcoin, furthering our mission of putting Bitcoin on every block." So yes, getting them prepared, getting people who may be FOMOing into crypto soon prepared, because if they want to get out of their crypto, it's going to be very, very difficult. And this is a way that the masses can, I guess, comprehend, get it around their heads. How am I going to sell this Bitcoin? I have this Bitcoin now, and I want to get rid of it. I need cash. How are we going to do this? Well, a very, very strategic plan by the CEO of LibertyX, Chris Yim, to enable more Bitcoin to cash terminals around the United States of America. This isn't by coincidence, guys. All this stuff is happening for a reason. Cryptocurrency adoption, for good or for bad, is happening because of economic uncertainty. Of course, a lot of people have lost their jobs, and there's an election looming, and it's between these two guys. One of them is going to win the presidency next week, and this is going to cause a ripple effect in American markets. Now, I also saw this, guys, this from Mac Attack XRP here on Twitter. Benoit Coeure reveals the BIS's plan for CBDC trials starting in 2020. So now the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements, is planning for CBDC trials, and it was just last year, in the spring of 2019, when Augustin Carstens, the general manager of the Bank for International Settlements, was issuing his latest warning over the need for caution when considering central bank digital currencies. Now, according to a Chinese news source, The Paper, the very same institution dubbed the central bank for central banks. Guys, this is the BIS. They are dubbed the central bank for central banks. They are planning their own trial of a CBDC in collaboration with the Swiss Central Bank. So revealed by Benoit Coeure, head of the BIS Innovation Hub at the Bund Summit in Shanghai, the proof of concept initiative would be underway before the end of the year and would open a route of experimentation looking at use cases for a retail/cash equivalent CBDC. This could include how the digital currency might interoperate with existing payment systems, a role in digital identity, and tracking financial compliance per the report. Such use cases would require more work on the blockchain technology underlying the CBDC, Coeure said. The BIS will also look into how to facilitate cross-border payments using digital currencies between central banks, such as including the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the Bank of Thailand. And according to Coeure, the BIS Innovation Center is already carrying out experiments in Singapore, Switzerland, and Hong Kong, and has plans to expand the work in Germany, France, the UK, Sweden, and Canada. The comments from Coeure, who sat on the executive board of the European Central Bank until last year, come soon after the BIS and 7 central banks issued a report setting out the core principles for national digital currencies. So CBDC getting on their way. Of course, all these bodies getting on the same page with regards to digital currency adoption. The ECB's working on their thing. The IMF, obviously, a proponent of central bank digital currencies. And we're really seeing this tide shift, okay? As this great financial reset comes closer and closer, in the midst of this pandemic that we're experiencing, whether it's a coincidence or not, the narrative really has shifted from 2019, 2018. This idea that we got to stay away from cryptocurrencies. Now everybody is getting on board with cryptocurrencies. And despite what the United States is doing, we're also seeing governments getting on board with cryptocurrency, regulatory clarity, or at least using cryptocurrencies in some capacity. Now, this from King Solomon at XRP_owl on Twitter, noticing the IMF's homepage this morning. Interesting choice of a photo. He says, policy tools in times of financial stress. And look at that. That's just a pipe unleashing a huge flow of US greenbacks into the system. This can't be good for anybody. Let's keep an eye on what the world is doing with regards to cryptocurrencies, because it's going to be crucial for yours and my pocketbooks down the road. Remember that, guys. And we've also got this breaking news with regards to Singapore's largest bank, DBS. They are launching a fiat to cryptocurrency exchange brought to us by Panda Ripple XRP. Thanks so much for posting this. XRP and other altcoins will be listed for trade against the SGD, the Hong Kong dollar, the HKD, the JPY, and the USD. XRP liquidity power up. So a diagram here just regarding this digital exchange, digital asset custody and security token offerings. They are going to offer it all. DBS Digital Exchange is regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and is backed by leading Asian financial services group, DBS Bank, which has decades of extensive experience in capital markets and providing secure custodial services. And guys, over here, check it out. DBS Digital Exchange offers trading services from fiat currencies to 4 of the top digital currencies in circulation: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and XRP. These guys are a big player in the space. Let's not underestimate what they can do for cryptocurrency adoption. And speaking of adoption, guys, the VeChain team also wanted to let us know that they have some projects going live in the coming weeks. Guys, I saw this from the Cryptic Poet here on Twitter. Let me just play you the first little bit of this here. This from Sunny Liu, the CEO of VeChain.
Actually, recently we have done, for the second question, firstly, there are many NDAs. I know everybody hates NDAs. I hate NDAs as well. But we do have some developments. Actually, we already announced some partnerships with like the Renji Hospital. But actually, we do have a live project going on, like in a week or two, we'll be live. So stay tuned. We're going to have more news about that.
So Sunny Liu saying, they have announced quite a few of their partnerships, but they have more coming down the pipe in the next coming weeks. Stay tuned for that. This just demonstrating that they are also just, really hitting it out of the park in terms of partnerships, in terms of, signing up clients to utilize their technology in order to change the way business is done. And guys, unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. Of course, it's great that cryptocurrency technologies exist today, because if this were happening in the 1990s or the 2000s, we wouldn't have all this blockchain fintech technology to help us through this pandemic. The technology exists, and now it's being deployed. We know VeChain obviously has partnerships with food manufacturers, farmers. Different countries want to use it for tracking the supply chain within their food network. So that's just one of the things VeChain does. Great news there. Wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet for sharing that. And there's also this Ripple news, guys. This from Martin Volk here on Twitter. Ripple's partnership with Flare Finance can unlock DeFi opportunities for XRP. So in its latest update, Flare Finance announced that it will be launching 6 DeFi products as an all-in-one solution for investing. Thus, it will bring the higher utility of FLR tokens and XRP to the DeFi markets. So they had announced that they would be launching their first phase of DeFi protocol on the Flare networks. And on Monday, October 26th, which was yesterday, Flare Finance further updated the status on that. All the early stage testing took place at the Costin test network deployed on the Flare networks, and Flare Finance works as a DeFi protocol, bringing utility to its native FLR tokens as well as XRP upon its launch. The announcement notes that Flare will be launching a total of 6 decentralized finance products. These products will offer all-in-one trust-free solutions for investing as well as traditional finance. The first platform, FlareX, will function as a decentralized spot exchange in a multi-token system. The second product, dubbed Flare Farm, is a governance platform facilitating yield farming. The third product, Flare USD, will work as a stablecoin distribution platform. The other 3 platforms will offer other financial instruments and products like risk-free mutual funds, loans, and a yield farming liquidity tool provider, FlareMine, the official announcement notes. And guys, here's a quote. Flare Finance seeks to provide XRP/Spark users with the fastest and cheapest DeFi experience thanks to the superior architecture of the Flare networks and the XRP ledger. Our user experience will be based on providing the simplest means possible to unlocking and utilizing the value carried in your FLR and XRP. Hodlers of XRP or FLR will soon be able to easily earn interest on their holdings in a decentralized, trust-free fashion without the need for any financial advisors, banking institutions, or third-party intermediaries. So DeFi, guys, becoming another part of the ecosystem with regards to XRP and the Flare network. That partnership there has allowed XRP to be utilized in more than just cross-border remittance payments. The world is changing, and these verticals are broadening right before our eyes. So I'll link this article in the description if you want to read further. There's just a little bit more here. Thanks so much to Martin Volk for posting that. Also, there's a new XRP trading pair on the BitTrue exchange, guys. This coming from XRP Crypto Wolf. So it's the Clever/XRP trading pair, Clever with a K. Another trading pair added just to bring you guys up to speed on that. So let's just go back for a second. This guy or this guy, who is going to be president after America decides next week? You don't have to tell me who you're supporting. I have a feeling I know, but put it down in the comments who you think will win the election. And I think some American cryptocurrency hodlers are going to wake up when they hear this. Trump administration concern the SEC ceding digital currency control to China. This coming from Willy Wonka XRP on Twitter. Pay attention, guys. Trump is going to make it happen if he gets reelected. So Trump administration concerned SEC dragging its feet on digital currency as China races ahead. This article stating that the Trump administration doesn't want to be left behind despite what's been going on. So there's a growing concern within the Trump administration that Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Jay Clayton is not doing enough to counter growing Chinese dominance in digital currency, which will harm American companies wishing to compete in what is seen as the future of currency. So President Trump has moved aggressively throughout his tenure to respond to China's attempts to dominate emerging technologies through a plan called Made in China 2025, which will determine things as critical as the future of the world's manufacturing and communications. But concern with Clayton has been growing for months about what the Trump administration sees as his counterproductive approach as head of the agency that makes determinations on how the U.S. government regulates digital assets. So the Trump administration can't make this decision until Jay Clayton finally makes a decision. So far, under Clayton, the SEC has concluded that only 2 digital assets would be considered non-securities, and they talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. The president has rightly identified China as our geopolitical foe and has smartly maneuvered to thwart their aggression through his trade negotiations, his rebuilding of the military, and his overall economic plan. This coming from a senior administration official. So when you look towards the future, digital currency is going to be a major front in the broader economic battle. We need to make sure the SEC is not putting American companies at a disadvantage because China is making a major play in the crypto space. This coming from a senior administration official at the White House. Now, this is interesting because we've heard Brad Garlinghouse say this and others in the crypto space. Now we're hearing the Trump administration echoing that same sentiment. A senior intelligence official added, digital currency is a national security issue, and what China has done to hold the majority of certain digital currencies is something that's on our radar. Guys, I'll link the rest of this article in the description. Thought that was an interesting segue into what I'm going to talk about next. So we've got this crazy world we're living in. There's a pandemic. China is racing ahead with CBDCs, as we all know. The Trump administration obviously looking to pull forward. Okay, it's looking as though people within the administration are realizing that cryptocurrency, or rather digital currencies, making a CBDC for the nation is going to be critical if the United States wants to stay on top, if they want to secure their position of power on the world stage. But then we've got Davos. We've got all these bodies around the world and their grand narrative of this great economic reset that's kind of combating Trump's notion of making America great again, having America being number one with a lot of respects on the world stage. And I saw this, guys, from Michael at Val5 Links. Let me read you a little bit of this article because I thought this was interesting. The Fed will use digital dollars to unleash inflation, universal basic income, and debt forgiveness. When we recently described the upcoming unprecedented monetary overhaul, which will come in the form of the Fed sending out digital dollars directly to each American, we explained that absent a massive burst of inflation in the coming years, which inflates away the hundreds of trillions in federal debt, the debt tsunami that is coming would mean the end of the American way of life as we know it. And to do that, the Fed is finalizing the last steps of the process that revolutionizes the entire fiat monetary system, launching digital dollars, which effectively will remove commercial banks as financial intermediaries, as they will allow the Fed itself to make direct deposits into Americans' digital wallets. In this process, enabling truly universal basic income while also making Congress and the entire legislative branch redundant as a handful of technocrats quietly take over the United States. Now, guys, this article is coming from Zero Hedge, so just keep that in mind. But if you're interested, keep listening. In short, we laid out the Fed's true reasoning behind the coming digital dollars, not as how Fed Chair Powell recently described them, which, as a reminder, is as follows: faster and cheaper transactions, addressing a decline in the use of physical currency, modernizing the payments infrastructure, and reaching customers who have been traditionally underserved by financial institutions, but as a short circuit to a clearly broken monetary transmission mechanism, one which seeks to facilitate universal basic income and unlimited helicopter money by completing overhauling how money reaches Americans. So there are a few things going on here. Of course, there is the Great Reset, We can see big things happening with our cryptocurrency holdings if that happens, if dollars start to become inflated like nobody's business. Of course, people who are holding any cryptocurrency, I feel like it'll be the bull run of all bull runs. You know how the BIS is the central bank for central banks? Well, this will be the bull run for bull runs because people will panic, people will FOMO, money will flow into the cryptocurrency market at an unprecedented rate. But on the other hand, guys, this is a scary situation that we're faced with. This article is suggesting that we should really be scared of this great financial reset. And one of the things it mentions is it'll mean the end of the American way as we know it. Now, guys, remember I did that video yesterday? This is the World Economic Forum's video, the 8 predictions for the world in the year 2030. And I didn't want to play you the video yesterday. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things with regards to that video. I did link it in the description. I don't know if you guys watched it. I am going to play it for you now, guys. Watch this. I am not going to like that video, I'll tell you that much. Now, I showed this to my wife the other day, and I wanted to show her, I mean, just the thing that I was talking about yesterday in yesterday's video. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And it took her less than 2 seconds to realize what is going on here. These bodies are already trying to condition us to get used to this way of life that we are not used to. They are telling us, and they have been since November 2016, that this is how the world is going to change by the year 2030. Now, you know, some of it is kind of fun. Whatever you want, you'll rent and it'll be delivered by a drone. But think of the underlying message here, guys. The US won't be the world's leading superpower. We already have seen signs pointing to the fact that that could be the case. A handful of countries will dominate. Okay, fine, I understand. You won't die waiting for an organ because, you know, we've got 3D printers and they can just be printed. Here's something that I wanted to address. You'll eat much less meat. Now, I know that sounds innocuous, but what is the coded message behind this? An occasional treat, not a staple for the good of the environment and our health. What this really means, guys, is that most people will not be able to afford to eat meat. Do you not think that the 1% are still going to be chowing down on their steak and lobster surf and turf dinners? Exactly. People are going to be poorer. People aren't going to be able to afford to eat meat, which it is an environmental issue, but it's just part of the issue. You know, this is just preparing us to live a life with less than we do today. There's also this issue of displacing people because of climate change, so they're framing it as climate change. We'll have to do a better job at welcoming and integrating refugees, which on the one hand is a very politicized issue, but may I remind you guys, George Soros, he is a proponent of a borderless world. Let's not forget about that. More importantly, guys, though, the World Economic Forum is conditioning us for what is to come in the coming decade after this great financial reset. At least that's what I think. They talk about polluters, paying carbon dioxide tax, fine. Going to Mars, fine. You know, I just wanted to bring up some of these points here because a lot of this to me is coded language. Take a look at this one. Western values will have been tested to the breaking point, which ultimately means our way of life is going to change as we know it. As mentioned in this article here, the end of the American way of life as we know it is going to occur. So the Great Reset. How can we best defend ourselves against what's going to happen? Well, Having money certainly doesn't hurt. This is why, guys, no matter where you go, a lot of people who are into cryptocurrency, who truly believe in cryptocurrency as a means to hedge against what's coming up, advise to just hodl. Now, again, that is not financial advice. Obviously, everybody's in a very different circumstance with regards to their jobs or money flow or what have you. So you do what's right for you. Never invest more than you can afford to lock away. But hodl, hodl, hodl until we see the next bull run and then sell some for profit. Don't ever sell it all though, guys, because this bull run's coming way before 2030. And we're seeing predictions for what I interpret as a very bleak future coming straight from the World Economic Forum, okay? Finally, this, guys, the Fed pumped $9 trillion into the U.S. economy in just 1 year. That's more money in 1 year than in 2 centuries of USD creation. Wanted to thank XRP_Crow for posting this. This is from his infographic. I will link this tweet in the description if you guys want to download this. So more money printed in 1 year, in the year between 2019 and 2020, than in the last 200 years. If you were to stack up the $100 bills on top of one another, the amount of $9 trillion will be the equivalent of the distance from San Francisco, USA, to Sydney, Australia. So that is about 7,102 miles, guys. A lot of interesting facts in here. You know what's really shocking? If you spent $1 million a day, it would take you 24,657 years to spend $9 trillion. So every day you can essentially buy one supercar like a McLaren Senna or an emerald cut platinum diamond engagement ring. Finally, I just want to remind you guys of something. The US national debt is about $27.1 trillion. And so that is actually 3 times the amount of money that was just printed last year. Let's put things into perspective, folks. Are you ready for this reset? Are you hodling strong? How much do you plan to sell in the next bull run percentage-wise? And how much do you plan to hodl until the year 2030? Put it down in the comments because I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.